You can see this is the desktop of my laptop, and let me go back again. Yeah, it's moving me. Okay, so this is ETAB icon. Double click on it. One has to wait a little bit. So that is now this is, you can say that this is a initializing process. So the ETAB will check all the softwares whether they are intact or not, and then it will start initializing the process. And so here you can go ahead with new model right from this or from the file. So the new model initialization pop-up window or dialog box that will come to you. You can go to built-in settings, put it metric SI, Indian, IS 800, 2000 and IS 456 in respective columns. Click OK. Then let us, we'll start with this, whatever it is, and we'll accept it as grid only. And this will be our initial modeling process. Okay, let's wait a bit. And so we are in two windows, and this is a model explorer. But you may go through this, but whatever is over here, the same information is over here in the toolbars and pull down menu and the menu on the right side, and we'll go one by one. Now, see, we are starting a model. Now, you know that you want to develop a model which will be built in, that structure will be built in concrete with reinforcement. But how this software will understand? Software will understand by definition. So first thing is that you have to go in the define column. Okay, so click on define. You can see the pull down menu. All these things are for your definition. So this will be defining various conditions. Right now will be going to material. So what material you are going to use? Yes, anybody can tell me what material that you are going to use?
So if we are designing RCC, then we will go for concrete and steel
Okay.
reinforcement.
Okay, then what grade of concrete, what grade of reinforcement, that you have to initialize through material properties. So click on material properties. A window that is a defined material pop-up window will come in front of you, and you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the four default values of the materials that this software right now knows. He does not know anything outside these four, and these are not of our use. So A92, FY50 or 400 PSI or AGI, whatever. This is for ACI, and by default, this software will have default values with ACI code. But we want our whatever we know. So click on add new material. Now here you can see add new material property dialog box opens for you, and you can see region. Now this region means which region that you want to represent. So you are representing region as India. Then material type. So if you don't understand anything, you can pull down this, and you can see, you can define or you can model your uh, structure in steel, concrete, aluminum, cold form, rebar, tension, masonry, and if anything else, then you can go to others. Now we are going for concrete. Okay, so I'm choosing concrete. Now standard, what standard that I want? I want Indian standard. So India. If something is there, user standard, so you can say that Indian standard. And grade. Now, what are the different types of grades that we are using in India? Right from M15, M20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Now these properties are already defined. You just have to pick up the required property. Now let's say we'll start with M20, and click OK. The moment you click OK, you will see that whatever properties are stored as M20 will appear over here, and you just go through that. So what are the types of properties we need as a structure engineer? Hello. Okay, let me change the question. Are you supposed to know the chemical composition of concrete? Hello. Yes, anyone? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then my question is that uh, are we interested, or do you, or as a structure engineer, see, if I am a chemical engineer or if I am a engineer working in cement factory, then I must know the chemical properties, then all other properties of cement. But am I supposed, as a structure engineer, am I supposed to know the constituents in cement, how it is prepared, what
Compressive
are
strength
the values?
should know.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Yeah, if you
The
know, it is best.
aggregates,
Yeah, if
aggregate
you know,
cement.
yeah, yeah. So, as a structure engineer, it is required that you must know the physical properties or mechanical properties of the concrete. And what are the mechanical properties of concrete? You can see here what is the specific weight of wet density. Either you can go with wet density or you can click on this. Yeah, then he will show the mass density. So wet per unit volume, he has calculated as 24.99. We say 25, but that 24.99 itself, you can say that it is okay. Then if you click over here, then mass will be, you can edit the mass, but you, according to this mass, the weight will be calculated. And if you click over here, uh, this will be in your editing facility. So either you can make it 25. So let's say I will make it 25, because I know that weight per unit volume or specific weight of concrete, reinforced concrete, is considered in India as 25 kilonewton per cubic meter. Clear? Okay. Once the weight is calculated, immediately he will calculate the mass. How? W divided by gravity. So this 25 divided by 9.81, that will be calculated, and that's why it is not, you're not supposed to edit it. Okay. Then what is the modulus of elasticity? So what is the formula for modulus of elasticity? Anyone? अगर आता है तो हाँ बोलो, नहीं आता है तो ना बोलो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. हेलो.
Yes, sir.
मीन्स
Sir,
क्या?
it's the
या
stress equals to modulus of elasticity into strain.
ओके, बट व्हाट इज मॉड्यूलस ऑफ इलास्टिसिटी फॉर M20? So if you go to
5000 under root FCK.
yes, right. So you can see that in IS 456 you will get this formula, which is EC equal to 5000 under root FCK, where FCK is in Newton per mm square, and you have to convert it in MPa. Okay, that MPa is Newton per mm square, so no problem. So if you calculate this, and the figure you will see, that is this 22,360.680. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. See, I don't want you to follow anything blindly, and that's why I'm explaining it. Otherwise, whatever you may say that these values are correct, but you must know the mechanical properties of concrete. So the first is specific weight or weight per unit volume, or you can say mass per unit volume. Second is modulus of elasticity. Third is Poisson ratio, and you know that for Poisson ratio for concrete ranges from 0.17 to 0.20. Now, mostly we are going for 0.20. Okay. Then coefficient of thermal expansion. Now, this right now we don't need this, but this is required whenever you are going for thermal changes, stresses that are developed due to the temperature change inside the concrete. So, if you are dealing with that, then this will be required. So coefficient of thermal expansion, and then shear modulus. Now, what is this shear modulus? It's a modulus
Shear
of
stress upon shear
shear
strain.
stress upon shear strain, and there now this is not available for you to edit, because you know that there is a relation between G and E and nu, and that relation is G equal to E divided by something 2 into
1 plus nu.
1 plus
2G into
E.
1 plus mu.
Yes. So if you calculate this value, then you will see that this value comes out to be this, and that is calculated in the software inside. So software will not ask you modulus of shear modulus. He will say that once you give me this and you give me this, then I can calculate, because I know this property. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Then you can now these properties, right now I will not go into this, because these are for advanced analysis. Right now we are learning basic things, so you can exclude all these things and say okay. Now how many different material properties you will define? N number of. You can go for M25, you can go for M30, because if you are going through multi-story structure, you might need a different grade of concrete at different levels. Maybe you may be choosing for footing and columns, you may be going for M40, and beams and slab, you may go for M30. Then at upper levels, say uh, top 5 to 6 floors, you may go for 25. So accordingly, all those material properties you will have to define over here. Right now we are going with only one, so I don't need additional. But if you need, you have to go to this. Then you can see, instead of this, you can go for M25. You can click OK, and the same way you can check all the values. I will make it 25. Rest of the things are correct. You can check it, and now M20 and M25 is available for me to use. So see, any material property, maybe M20, 30, 40, 45, it is not available to you unless you define it. Okay. Similarly, I will define reinforcement. Now reinforcement, don't go for steel. This is for structural steel. And for reinforcement, the
Rebar.
rebar. So you have to choose rebar over here, and then here you can choose the grades. So right now we are going for FE415. So HYSD grade 415, and click OK. And you can see the HYSD rebar values, that wet per unit volume, then modulus of elasticity, thermal coefficient, etc. is available. Click OK. So this is now you can use M20 and FE415 for your construction. Okay. So this is the first step. First thing is that you have to define material properties. Which material that you are going to use in this, that you have to define. Now second, what you are going to do? You are going to create columns, you are going to create beams, you are going to create slabs, you are going to create walls. For that also you have to define. Now these are considered as uh, sections. Now one of you or many of you may ask me, sir, we do right now we don't know what should be the size of column and how we can assume that. So this is a trial and error process. Right now you can assume anything. Let's say we are going for a 3 to 4 story structure. I will say that I will define one beam, I will define one column, and that I will use for everything else. You can go, do that, and after analysis, you will get the forces and moments, and based on that, you will redesign that, and we'll see how it can be edited later on. So first, we'll assume some arbitrary sizing of beams, columns, and slabs. and walls also, shear walls. Let's say how I can define. Again, I will have to go to define, and
Section
now
properties.
material properties have been defined. Now I will go in section properties, and in section properties, I will go for frame sections, then I will go for slab sections, and then I will go for wall
One
sections.
side.
Let's say frame sections. Now again pop-up window will come before you, and now these are all inbuilt uh, default values of some sections. There is concrete section, there is ISMB, ISMC, slab, etc. And I don't want to use them. So what I will do, I will go to this delete multiple properties. So click on that and select all and delete the selected frames. And you will see that some are remaining. Then again you can delete and you can click. Now the one property is there. Now if I want to delete this, he will ask me cannot delete the property. At least one frame section property must always exist. Now again I will say that this is the inbuilt requirement or minimum requirement of this software, that in every section he must have at least one section. You may provide more than one, maybe two, three, hundreds, but minimum requirement is there has to be one section that you cannot delete. Okay. Now I want to delete this. So what I have to do, I have to add something. So I will go to add new property. Clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I will go to add new property, and now this property dialog box under frame section, you can see frame property shape type. So these are the various types of shapes that you can define. Right now we are going for concrete and we are going for rectangular. So by default this is selected, but I will select it. Okay, I have selected that. Now under that rectangular section, now I can define various rectangular sections of various sizing B and D. First, I will go for column. So now this is my process. You may call anything. So the first thing is that property name. Now you may say C1, C2, C3, or you may say column 1, column 2, column 3, or you may go as per my advice. So I will use C for column. Then I will select one property. Let's say we'll be going for 230 by 600 or 300 by say 500. So then that sizing I will put over here 300 by 500. And now here also I will say M20. That means this name suggests me that I am defining a column which is having a dimension of 300 by 500, and it is attached to a concrete property of M20. Now if I want one more column which is of the same size but different grade, then there I will put it over here as 25. Clear? Yes.
Yes,
Hello.
sir.
Or you may choose any name, that is your choice. But afterwards, let's say there are 100 columns, and then you don't know what is the size of C1, what is the size of C2, what is the size of 55. So I put it in the name itself, because this, if I select this, I know that this is a column of 300 by 500 having concrete grade M20. Now this is material. What material that I want? Now you can see all the material
M20.
all the material that you have defined are available. So if you are not defining M20, it will not be available. So here now I'm choosing M20. Now here display color, you may have anything, or if you don't like this, you can change it. But I will keep as it is. That is not a big issue. Then section shape. So section shape is column rectangular. Then here you can see depth and width. So I will use width as 300 and
500.
depth as 500. So remember one thing, how the software will understand that this column is 300 by 500 by this dimension, and how you will understand by this name. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Dono kush. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now you can see over here, property modifier. We'll go in the property modifier in later stages. Right now we are not using property modifiers, but reinforcement. Now here I must have some reinforcement in this column. So I will click on that, modify show rebar. Click on that, and you will get another window which is saying section property reinforcement data. Okay, so the reinforcement data under this design type. Now ETAB recognizes, or ETAB defines column differently and beam differently. So for column you can see PM2 M3. If you do not understand PM2 M3 right now, you can choose that column. So this is to be highlighted when you are defining column. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Then you can see over here, rebar, longitudinal reinforcement, HYSD 415, and confinement
Confinement bar
response,
ties.
HYSD 415,
Okay.
right?
Yes, sir.
Then configuration, rectangular, confinement bars, ties, and check oblique design. That means now we are instructing the software that I am providing this, but please reinforcement is to be designed. Do not consider whatever reinforcement that I have provided. You can check it and redesign it. So if you want that, then you have to highlight this. And if you highlight this, so the meaning of this is very simple, that whatever configuration that you have provided, software will not alter that, and software will tell you that whether this is uh, okay, or it is to be revised. But he will not revise unless you click on this. Okay. By default, this is on, but sometimes you may, in the final stages, you may want this reinforcement not to be changed. So in that case, you will see that only let me know whether the column is overstressed or it is within the limit. Okay, so that's why this is given to you. So check and design. So whether reinforcement is to be designed, mostly you will follow this, but sometimes you may need this. Okay. Now here you can see clear cover for confinement bars. So what is the clear cover? That is as per your choice. And if we follow codal provision, then for column we are providing clear
40
cover of.
mm.
But if you want it 50, you can do it. Okay. Again, never ever follow everything blindly. I will say that code says that the clear cover requirement for columns, beams, and slabs is not arbitrarily defined. It is related with your environmental conditions. What are the environment conditions? And there are 5 environment conditions defined in our code. One is mild, moderate, severe, very severe, and extreme. So accordingly, the value of cover gets changed. But right now we are going for moderate, and under moderate condition, the code allows us a clear cover of 40.
Okay.
Now you can see number of longitudinal bars along 3 directions. Yeah.
सर
Yes, go ahead.
डिस्टर्ब कर रहा है
हाँ.
सर, ये जो अभी आपने क्लियर कवर का बताया,
हाँ.
ये क्लियर कवर हमारा जो साइज ऑफ कॉलम है उसके
हाँ.
हिसाब से 40 अपने आप आया है ना, तो हम लोग इसे चेंज कर सकते हैं या 40 पे भी हम लोग कर सकते हैं? और अगर हम लोग साइज कॉलम का बढ़ा देते हैं तो ये क्लियर कवर बढ़ जाएगा ना अपने आप, या इसे हमें करना पड़ेगा?
नहीं, ये आपको एडिट, सी ऑल द white cells you can edit. That means if you don't find this correct, for your project, you may change it, but you have to change. See here, I will change it something 60. Okay, then it will be 60. Again, I will go for 40. Then it will be 40. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Now, one more thing, as per my knowledge, the cover, clear cover, is based on criteria of environmental conditions and firefighting requirements. It does
Yes,
not,
sir.
yeah, it does not follow with the size of column. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So whatever may be the size of column, maybe 750 by 750, still it depends. The cover depends on what is the condition, environmental condition, and what are your fire hazard requirements. Please
Yes,
go
sir.
through. Please go through IS 456 codal provision. Read it page by page, and then you will understand it. Okay. That
Yes.
Yes, sir. We have read it.
oh. Does it depend with the size of column or size of beam, or it depends with the environmental condition and firefighting requirements?
So it depends on the environmental condition, firefighting, resistance against fire.
Yeah,
Table is given in the codes.
yeah. So
I
that
think page
table
numbers are 42, I think.
yeah,
I think page number 42.
maybe I don't remember the page, but the provisions are there. You can go through that and but keep asking the queries, because उसी से मुझे भी पता चलता है कि what information I should give you.
नहीं सर, आप सही बोल रहे हैं, मैंने आईएस पर पढ़ा है, उसमें चेंज किया हुआ इन्वायरमेंट के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है ये.
Yes, definitely. It depends on environmental conditions and firefighting requirements.
Yes, sir.
How much fire resistance you are supposed to provide.
I think सर फायर रेजिस्टेंस में 60 mm क्लियर कवर हो जाता है.
Yeah. Okay, let us go ahead. Now the number of longitudinal bars along 3 direction. So this is your 3 direction and this is your 2 direction. We'll talk about this later on, but right now you can see that minor axis direction is direction 2 and major axis direction is direction 3.
एक्सक्यूज मी सर
Yeah,
सर
Yes.
कॉलम का जो क्लियर कवर होता है 40 mm फिक्स होता है, लेकिन जो एनवायरमेंटल कंडीशन जो अपनी लगती है ना सर, वो ग्रेड ऑफ कंक्रीट के हिसाब से लगती है.
नहीं, वो देख लेना, वो क्लियर कवर भी बदलता है.
क्लियर कर कवर सर जैसे कॉलम में तो मैक्सिमम लगेगा 40 mm, उससे
अरे
नीचे
भाई
जाएगा
वही
ही
तो
नहीं.
बोल रहा हूँ, सुनो मेरी बात, वही तो मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि आप 4/6 एक बार पढ़ लो एंड मॉडरेट कंडीशन, सीवियर कंडीशन, देन एक्सट्रीम कंडीशन, वो क्राइटेरिया है जिस पर वो थोड़ा थोड़ा बदलता है, 5 mm बढ़ता है, चेक कर लो.
सर दिस इज द मिनिमम कवर, मिनिमम क्लियर कवर.
या
40 तो होना ही मिनिमम.
yeah,
That
40,
is minimum, sir.
you cannot go below 40 for column.
हाँ, बिनो
Yeah.
वी डू. हाँ ये सर, फायर रेजिस्टेंस के लिए सर ये.
तो देख लेना, मैंने आपको बता दिया है, वो 4/6
हाँ, सर.
एक बार निकाल दो और फिर देख लेना. ओके
हाँ,
okay,
सर, हाँ, सर.
let's say go for this. Now this 3 direction is major direction and you may call this as a ZZ direction. We'll talk on this a bit later, but right now how many bars you need parallel to width? So if your width is 300, you may go for 3, but I normally go for 2. And this is your uh, depth. So depth we are considering 600. So you can go for 5 numbers and then keep it as it is. You can change it to 8 dia and along 3 direction. Now it will be along 3 direction. It will be 5 and here it will be 2. So right now we'll talk on this when we'll be designing the columns. But right now any value you put it over here for software and for analysis, it doesn't make much difference. So you can click OK and your
Sir,
first
sir.
column. Yes.
सर सर वो
Yeah.
एक बार जो आपने विड्थ में डायमेंशन ली और डेप्थ में डायमेंशन ली ना सर,
हाँ,
सर उसमें कॉलम में विड्थ कौन सी होती है, डेप्थ कौन सी होती है सर कॉलम में?
जो छोटा डायमेंशन है वो विड्थ होता है और जो बड़ा डायमेंशन है वो डेप्थ होता है.
ठीक है सर.
Yeah. Okay. So you have defined one column. The way you can define n number of columns, but the process is same. So I'm not going to repeat it. You just go through various sizes and define it and put it over here. And now we'll define one property for B. So I'm going for add new property. Again, I will go for rectangular. And now here I will say B for beam. And let's say we are going for beam equal to 230 by say 450. So 230 by 450 and grade will be M20. Again, here you are providing M20, then everything is okay. And here you will provide width as 230 and depth as 450. Okay. Then again, I will go to show, modify show rebar. Click on that. And now click this M3 design only. Okay. Now don't consist with this. So you have to click on M3 design only, or in bracket, it is shown beam. And here you will provide the reinforcement that you are going to use. And here you will go for top bar and bottom bar. Again, bottom bar, you can say now there is one more change. You can see cover to longitudinal rebar group centroid, and that's why I will say that it will be clear cover plus half the main dia bar and stirrup. So 25 plus 10, if you say that it may go up to 40. So at bottom it is 40 and at top you may go for 35. And this skip 0 because this is again for advanced if you want to go for design. So right now we'll keep it as 0 and click OK. And now you can see the size. Now if here you are providing some reinforcement, or in this bracket you see some reinforcement, that means you are going wrong. And where you have gone wrong, you have not unchecked this and highlighted this. Okay.
सर ये
So
प्रॉपर्टी
that is the
मॉडिफायर क्या होता है?
yeah.
प्रॉपर्टी मॉडिफायर
वो बताएंगे बाद में, जब
Okay.
हम लोग आगे जाएंगे ना लैटरल लोड एनालिसिस, वहां पर
Yes.
मैं ये प्रॉपर्टी मॉडिफायर के बारे में बात करूंगा.
Okay, sir.
राइट वी आर नॉट चेंजिंग द प्रॉपर्टी मॉडिफायर्स.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So here I have defined one for column, one for beam. Okay. Now similarly I will define one for slab also, or we'll go ahead with drawing, then we'll go for define of slab and walls. Okay. Now immediately I will go for creating columns. So for columns I will use all story option. Okay. So here I will check it that all story option is on, and then I will go to draw. So I will click on draw, and now draw will be available, and you can see draw point object. So if you want to draw the points, you will go over there, draw beams and column. And now in this, you will have various options. Out of that, I am going to use quick draw columns. Okay. So I'm clicking on that. And now you can see a property dialog box. See, when you're practicing, don't go with a hurry. तो हरी से क्या होता है, आपके प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट करेंगे. So I will say that read each and everything and then use your drawing option. Now here, what is that property that is selected is 300 by 500 M20. Now if I don't want that, I want another property, I will have to go over here But as I have defined only one property for column, that is only available, right? Then moment release is now we are not going to release any moment in moment release. Angle, now this angle is 0 means it, see, you can see this. So we'll talk about this later on. Now this plan offset x has to be 0, y has to be 0. That means where you will click, it will be appearing over there. We'll see that one by one. Okay, now let's see that I'm just checking that the right property that I have used here, and then I will click on this. You can see it has been drawn. Grid point. At every grid point, I can provide the column. Got it? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
now,
sir.
now let's say that I want everything over here. So I can have a dialog box, and you can see. And if I click on this, now you see that the columns, now the first thing is that go to this select object option, and then see anything. Now, if I go over here, you can see that the column is appearing something like this. And this column you don't want like this, you want like this. तो क्या करना पड़ेगा? Yes?
तो इसका एंगल चेंज कर देंगे.
Right. So see, there are various ways by which you can do that. The first thing is that I will select this. So I will select this and I will delete it. Okay. Then
Yes, sir.
I will go to that. Then I will go to draw columns and object quick draw columns. And then I will bring this property dialog box over here. I will expand it. And here I will make the sign angle in degrees as 90. And then I will click somewhere outside. And then I will provide the column over here. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So either there are two ways. Either I can delete that column and I can redraw another column with angle equal to 90.
सर इसको सिलेक्ट करके भी तो रोटेशन कर सकते हैं.
वही तो करते हैं ना. अभी देखो यार, वन बाय वन मैं सारी चीजें बताऊंगा ना. एक ही समय में मैं सारी चीजें नहीं बताऊंगा, और बताया तो आपको कुछ नहीं ध्यान में आया. शायद आप थोड़ा प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं इसलिए आपको ये चीजें मालूम है.
नहीं, एक्चुअली सर मैंने 1 मंथ यूट्यूब से मैंने पढ़ा था. 1 मंथ अप्रोक्स, आई थिंक मैंने कवर कर लिया था. कुछ लोड वगैरह में मेरा दिक्कत हो रहा था, इसीलिए मैं पूछ रहा था.
ओके, देखते हैं, हम आपकी सारी डिफिकल्टी सॉल्व करेंगे. मगर यूट्यूब का सेशन और मेरे सेशन में आपको कुछ डिफरेंस लगता है कि नहीं लगता है?
लगता है सर, क्यों नहीं लगता है.
ओके, थैंक्स फॉर दैट. विल गो अहेड. Let's see that I want to change the angle of column and angle of this column. See, all story option is selected. Otherwise, if there is one story option, then he will change the angle of one story only. And you can check it over here. All columns are selected, and the selected columns you can see like this. Okay. And then I will go to assign. Click on assign. Click in the frame. Why I'm going for frame? Because I have selected frame. And go to section property, or you can go to local axis.
Yes.
And click on the local axis and make the local axis as 90 and click. Go to assign. The selected columns are oriented. So you may do that by deleting a column and adding another column, or you may select them and then go to assign, and through assign you will go to frame. Through frame you will go to local axis and you will check. See, 0 means horizontal. You can say 0 means parallel to x-axis and 90 means parallel to y-axis. Depth of the column is parallel to x. That means the angle is 0, and depth of the column parallel to y-axis means the angle is 90. You can remember this. Actually अगर मैंने आपको टेक्निकल टर्म्स बता दिए तो आप बोलेंगे अरे इतना बड़ा टेक्निकल टर्म नहीं चाहिए. तो मैं आपको इजी लेमैन्स लैंग्वेज में समझाने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ. If the column depth is parallel to x-axis, then the angle is 0, and if the column depth is parallel to y-axis, then angle is 90. Okay, so this way you can see you have drawn the columns. Now you can see here you are at story number 4. Let's say that you want to go to story number 1. So click on story number 1 and you are at story number 1. Now here I'm assuming that this is my plinth level, and then I will go for 1 story, and here I will draw the columns. I mean beams. Columns are already drawn over there. Now I will draw the beams. And how I can draw the beams? Very simple. Again, go to draw beams, column, brace, and you can go to this draw beams. So the first option I am showing you, then we'll go to quick draw beams also, then we'll go to quick draw secondary also. So all the options we'll see. So I will go to quick draw beams, columns, and brace. Click on that, and before drawing anything, see the property. And here many beginners make the problem. See the property it has selected is the previous property that you have applied. So you have to change it to beam. Okay, and if you are having number of beams, then you have to go for particular section. 230 by 450, 230 by 600, 230 by 750, whatever sections you have defined, all are available. Right now you are having only one because you have defined only one. Clear? Hello?
So,
Yes, sir.
Then I will go to this. So grid point 1 to another grid point, then another grid point, then another grid point. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, I will go from bottom to up, another and another. But when this is showing you grid point, only then click on that. So I will go with this. Okay, so like you can define, but always draw from left to right and bottom to top. The reason I will give you a bit later. Now I will close this and I will use another option. Again, go to draw beam and quick draw beams. And now you can see that the previously selected property is available. No, it is, yeah, this is another thing. So again, you have to check it and you have to make it B 230. Okay. And then I will click on this. I will click on this. Now I don't need to click on that. Or I can click like this. Or I can click like this. So this is nothing. See, you can draw the beam by any method. How you are drawing is not important for software. He will remember only the initial point and second point, and accordingly he will set everything. Clear? Now you can see that you see the columns uh, in blue as well as beams also blue, and you want to make the change in color. That is available under option. So click on option and go to graphic colors and click on that display. Now this is input, and why it is now here you can see beams. Now for beams, let's say you're going for this color. Click OK. Then for columns, see for columns. For columns, you may select a green color. Whatever, it is as per your choice. Maybe floors, keep it like this, and for walls, where are walls? Walls are red. Okay. You can see this. Okay. Now here also you can change the screen background. So white, black. If you don't need white, you can go for black also. Now again for black, you have to make the changes. So, okay, this will, yeah, we'll keep it as it is, and you will see how it looks. So this is okay, or whatever initial was okay. Yes.
This is okay, sir.
Okay. So that means you can go over here options, then go to graphic colors, and in graphic colors, you can go to display, and under display you can change the background color background, and then you can change the column sizing, etc. So okay, I will put this. This I will make something like this, and this okay, this will be kept as it is. But that you don't see, I think. So the color for column is to be changed. So let's put the color for columns as which one? Let's say this. ये भी नहीं दिख रहा है ना? अच्छा.
नहीं सर, ग्रीन ठीक था सर.
Okay. So we'll go for display and make it green. So okay, so this way you can draw the columns and you can draw beams. Now let us go one step ahead and
Sir.
draw.
सर
Yes. Yeah.
सर एक डाउट है सर.
हाँ.
सर वो आपने जब कॉलम कर रहे थे तो उसके अंदर रीइंफोर्समेंट 3 डायरेक्शन था ना, 2 डायरेक्शन 3 डायरेक्शन वाला ऑप्शन था सर. वो समझ में नहीं आया सर, उसको कैसे, मतलब उसका वो जो सॉफ्टवेयर में लिखा है वो मतलब क्या कहना चाह रहा है उसमें अपन, वो समझ में नहीं आया सर. एक बार वो समझा दें.
नहीं, वो आगे मैं बताता हूँ. when will be going for that analysis, will बताता हूँ. कोई see, okay, let us clear it right now. So don't waste the time. We'll see. This is your column section. Okay.
Yes, sir.
You are having one axis.
Okay, sir.
And you call this as a major axis, no?
Yes, sir.
Major. In some books, you may call it as a Z. You may call Z. And this is your another axis. Okay. So this is minor axis.
Okay, sir.
Right? And
Yes, sir.
in books, you say it Z and Y. Instead of Z, he is considering it as 3.
Okay.
Instead of Y, he is considering as 2.
Okay.
Clear?
Okay, sir.
So that's why in column you might have seen that P, M2, M3. ऐसा था ना वो?
हाँ सर, ऐसा था.
So P means axial load, M2 means moment about minor axis,
Okay.
and M3 means moment about major axis.
Major axis. Okay, sir.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, no problem यार, मैं उसी के लिए बैठा हूँ. डोंट वरी. जितने क्वेश्चन है उतने सारे मुझे पूछ लो, तो किसी और को पूछने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी.
Yes.
हाँ, अगर मुझे आता है तो मैं बताऊंगा, अगर नहीं आता है तो मैं कहूंगा यार थोड़ा पढ़ना पड़ेगा, बाद में बताऊंगा. ओके.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so we were over here, and that was what story number 2. Why? Yeah, story number 2. Let me go to that option, color display, white background and beams. Let me do it red. Okay, so the beams are red and columns are blue. Okay, now I am at story number 2, and at story number 2, I want to draw the beams. So I will go to beams, then this draw beams, quick draw beams, and then I will see that it is the property of 230 by 450, and I will highlight it something like this. Then I will highlight something like this. Highlight it. So I can draw it at floor number 2. Let us say I will draw it at floor number 3. Then I can draw at terrace, floor number 4. Clear? So drawing beams and columns is just a 5 or 6 minutes game. But I'm showing you each and everything. That's why we are taking time. Okay? And मेरे पास समय बहुत है, मैं कोई जल्दबाजी नहीं करूंगा. Okay, let us see now. Okay, you will say that okay, ये आपने grid line बनाया, वहां पे column किया, but I want to draw a column somewhere here. How I can draw it? Because there is no point over here, no point over here, so you cannot pick the point, and that is a problem. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah, I cannot pick a point over here, or that may not be exact. Okay, so तो कैसे करें? So there are various ways. Let's say I will go and define one beam. So go to define section properties, frame sections, and in frame sections I will go to add new property, go to rectangular. Then here I will say that now I want a beam. So B, let's say beam is 200 by 300, different 9, and grade will be M20. So here I will provide M20. Here I will provide the dimension as 200, and for depth I am providing dimension as 300. Okay. Then for modify show rebar, I will click on this. I will go to HYSD 415, HYSD 415, and let's say 35 and 40. And okay. And okay. So now one more beam is available to me that I can use over here, anything inside. Now you can see that the dimension is this. Now the dimension is shown on that. It is 8 meter, 8 meter, 8 meter. And let's say that you want a beam at exactly at midpoint in this area. Then here you need this to divide in 3. So let's see how we can do that. Okay. So I'm again going to draw, then draw beams. And here I will go for secondary beams, because now these beams are resting not on column but on another beam. So click on that and see the property over here, enlarge it. So you are enlarging, take the property as we have not defined that, we have not saved, I think that's why it is not available. वो जल्दबाजी में हमने सेव करना भूल गए. ओके, चलो ये इमीडिएटली कर लेते हैं. सेक्शन प्रॉपर्टी, फ्रेम सेक्शन, देन add new property, concrete rectangular, then here it will be B 200 by 300 M20, then provide the grade of concrete, so this will be 200 and this will be 300, and modify show rebar, then M3 beam design only, then 415 415 40 and 35. Then okay, click OK over here and click OK over here and click OK over here. And now you can see if I go to draw beams and that and secondary beams, and if I pull it over here, now you can see here I will choose the property as 230 by 300. Then moment release. Now this is a secondary beam, that's why it is a simply supported, considered as simply supported. Then spacing, number of beams. So beams are number of beams. Let's say I want to draw only one. Or let's say I want to draw only one. And approximate orientation, parallel to Y or parallel to X. So click on that and choose parallel to X. Okay, and just put it over here. Yes, clear. Now I want number of beams as 2. Let's 2, and it is parallel to Y, not X, and you can put it over here. Clear हुआ? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Now you may again ask me, sir, this is okay, you are defining some but ऐसा थोड़ी होता है कि मान लो कि I need a beam 1.5 meter from say from this grid on right side, then from this this grid upward side on lower side. So how I can do that? See, again, there are n number of ways you may find all these, but let us start with one. So see, I want a beam somewhere here 1.5 below this point. So this is my grade point B4 and I want it at 1.5 or let's say 1.75. So something odd. Okay. So you can go to the draw, but now draw the point joint object. So right now what I'm creating the joint. So click on that. So I will create the joint, and how I will be going to create the joint. See plan offset. In X direction, I don't want anything on this side. I want below. So plan offset Y. How much it will be? And see the dimension. The dimension is mm. So if I need 1.75 meter below that particular point where I will click, then I must write it as minus 1750. Clear?
Yes, sir.
And now I will click on this point. Now I will click on this point. So I have created two joints. Okay. Then I will go to draw and then I will use that option. Now I can click this point. Okay. And I will choose the desired property, let's say 230 by 300, and from this joint to this joint. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now let's say I want it on from this point, I want it at 2.25 on the left side. Again, I can do that, but I will create the joint first, and the joint I will go to draw joint object, and here I will say that now x will be 2.25 meters on the left side. That means minus. So minus 2250. Y is 0, Z is 0. So I can click on this point. I can click on this point. The point is not clicked properly. So you can see that. Okay, then I will draw that beam. Draw the beam. Okay, now you may ask, let's go one step ahead, or okay, we are at story number 2. Now you may ask, सर ऐसा कुछ नहीं है क्या कि वो कुछ ऐसा करेंगे कि ये पॉइंट निकालने का झंझट नहीं चाहिए? ओके, अब मान लो यहां से आपको 3 मीटर पर राइट साइड ऑन 3 मीटर चाहिए इस टाइम. समझो यहां से यहां चाहिए. ओके, और यहां से ऊपर चाहिए. तो ये समझो 3 मीटर है और ये समझो 2.5 मीटर है. From this point and from this point, how it can be done? Simple. See, I am selecting this. So the beam is selected. You can see that one frame is selected, one story is on, and I will go to edit, and in edit, I will go to replicate. That means copy, and I will use linear copy. So there are linear, radial, mirror, and story. So linear and story will be using, as we don't have any circular shape, so we are not using this, and I will not suggest you to do this. The reason we'll see later on. But don't use this mirror option. It is very simple, but it creates a lot of other problems, and I don't want that problem. So let's say a 3 meter on right side. So dx. Now dx means increment. Increment from this point on the right side. So how much is the increment? 3 meter.
3 meter.
Okay. Then you can see, click on. So the beam is drawn. Now select this and again do the same thing. Replicate. And now dx is 0, but dy will be 2.5. Okay. And you can apply, and that is okay. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now let us see one more thing. Many times what you get is some beam is somewhere here. Let's say it is somewhere from this point to this point. ऐसा आता है ना?
Yes, sir.
So for that, what we will do?
So break the beam.
Up, see, if I select this and I apply it, say, let us say this is 2 meter above. Okay. If I do that, see, edit, then replicate, and in replicate, let's say it is upward by say 1.8. Okay.
Okay.
And apply and close. Okay. अब क्या हुआ? Actually, you need from this point to this point, but as your originally this, the same will be duplicated. Now, if you want to put it over here only, there are two ways. See, I will select this beam. I will select this beam and I will divide the beam. Okay. Okay. Edit frames, divide frames. And I will say that bracket intersection with selected frames and joints. And I will apply and close. Now, if I see this, then I will delete it. Clear?
Yes, sir.
But I don't want to do that. See, this is simple full beam. This is full beam. And I don't want to divide because see that division is creating some different problem. So let's say I will select this beam. I will select this beam and then I will select this joint. Okay.
Okay,
See
sir.
what I have done. See, first I have selected the beam. Then I have selected the beam that is to be curtailed. And then I am selecting the joint on which the beam is to be curtailed. Okay. Clear over? See,
Yes, sir.
this will act as a cutting edge. This beam will be cut and it will be cut on this side. Yes. See, go to edit, then align joints, frames, and edges. Click on that, and you can see various options, and you will see that trim object. Apply, close. Clear हुआ?
Yes, sir.
Now you may think that okay, actually I needed this beam up to this frame. Okay, somehow you have created this beam, but you want to extend this beam up to this edge. So I will select the edge. I will select the beam to be extended, and I will select the joint to be extended. Yeah. And then I will again go to that, then edit frames, align joints, frames, and now I will extend. Instead of trim, I will extend. Yes.
So इसको एक बार और बता दें.
Okay. Okay. See what we will do. We'll make it. Okay. Let's do it again. See, this is. See, what is my requirement is that this selected beam. Let me say that this beam actually it is over here, but I want to extend it like this up to this point. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So that is my requirement. See, there are facilities, but which facility you should use depends on if you start thinking what you want and what you have. Only then you can do that. So I know that I want this beam to be extended up to this. So I will select that beam up to which the beam is to be extended. Then I will select the beam to be extended, and then I will select the joint to be extended. Process clear over?
Yes, sir.
Select the extended edge, then select the beam to be extended and select the joint which is to be extended, and then go to that, go to align and see that extend frame object.
Okay, sir.
Clear हुआ?
Yes, sir.
I think lot of things you might have learned, but see, the process is very important, how you are drawing. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now I will go to 3D frame. Let's say this. I want to see the model what I have created and how it looks. So I will go to view, then I will go to set display options, and in display options, object assignments, and under object assignments, okay, that is in general. So in general, you can see extrude. Extrude frames means show me in 3 dimension. Okay, so
Okay, sir.
frames, and apply to all. Now apply to all windows means whatever windows you have selected in your drawing. Right now we are having 2 windows. Now if I don't select this, it will be activated only in the window which is active. So our active window is on left side. Let's say don't do anything over here and see what happens. Apply and see. Okay, something missing. Go to view, set display options. Then yeah, ये हमने select ही नहीं किया. Extrude and don't apply anything. Apply and okay. And if I go now in 3D, 3D. See, this is the frame that I have created. Forget about the geometry. Just try to understand how you can create the beam, how you can create the column, how you can create secondary beams, how you can apply various options. Yes. Now the same thing is not available over here because you have not checked that window. So I will go again back, then set display options. Then I will click. Now I will click and I will apply all windows. So this change will be applied in all windows that are available. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So now if I go to any elevation, you can see in elevation, I look the frame something like, so if I'm in elevation 2, so if I'm in another elevation, let's say D, then I will see the frame like this. And this is 3D. And now I don't want this 3D structure. That means I will have to go to that set display options. In set display options, I will have to clear that. And now I will keep it over here, but I want to be removed in plan. So apply, close. Okay.
सर
Yeah.
सर
बोलो बोलो.
सर
Yes, I'm
सर
listening.
एक चीज, हाँ सर मैं ये पूछ रहा था, जैसे अपन एलिवेशन जब करते हैं तो ये 2 एक्सिस शो करता है, एक वाई जेड शो करता है और एक एक्स जेड शो करता है.
तो पहले सेशन में मैंने बताया ना.
हाँ सर, वो मेरे समझ में नहीं आया था सर, क्योंकि मैं बीच में क्लास छोड़ के चले गया था, जो कोई वो सर बहुत
इसीलिए तुम्हें प्रॉब्लम. ओके, कोई बात नहीं. लेट अस डू इट क्लियर.
जॉब टाइमिंग रहता है.
अरे बाबा, बहुत सारे रीजन होते हैं ना करने के, मगर करने के लिए कुछ रीजन निकालो.
हाँ सर, मैं सर, हाँ ठीक है सर.
ओके. छोड़ से आगे चलते हैं.
ठीक है.
See, this is your structure. Okay.
Yes sir.
If you look the structure from up, you will see plan. Okay.
Okay sir.
This is the plan, and in plan you will see Y and X. Okay.
Yes sir.
Now if you want to see the structure from this side, then you will see a structure something like this.
Yes sir.
This will be YZ.
Okay.
And if you want to see the structure from this end,
XZ.
this will be XZ. क्लियर?
यस सर।
अब कोई डिफिकल्टी नहीं है. Okay, so let me go back. See here, if I'm in plan, see, let's say story number 1. If I'm plan, you will see X and Y. X and Y. You can check it, X and Y.
यस सर।
Okay. So if I look from this side, I will see X and vertical will be Z. So this will be X and this will be Z. So if I want to look from this side, I will have to choose elevation parallel to x-axis. And what are the elevations parallel to x-axis? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So if I go to elevation and if I click anywhere somewhere here, you can see X and Z. X and Z.
Okay, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Now similarly, let's say in plan, if I want to see the elevation from this side, I want to see elevation from this side. So I will see Z. So Z, I will see Z. No, this Y. So Y will be like this, and vertically is Z.
Yes, sir.
And for if I see from this side, I will see this frame, this frame, this frame. That is ABCD.
Yes, sir.
So let's check it. Elevation, ABCD, anything. See Y and Z. Y and Z.
Okay, sir.
थोड़ा एक्सरसाइज करो तो हमें हमेशा याद रहेगा. Or try to draw the figures. Try to draw the figures whatever you see over here. Just I have said that I am drawing it something like this. So this is my X, this is my Y, Z, and this is my Y. Either I can see from bottom or from top, then I will see the plan. Then if I see from this side, I will get a elevation which is YZ. And if I see the elevation from this side, I will get the elevation XZ. Okay. Thing like hinge, right? This is looking something like hinge. So all the supports at base right now by default, they are hinge support. Okay. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now I don't want them hinge support because normally we are resting, see G plus 3, 4, 5, these structures normally they are resting on hard strata. So hard strata, we are creating a footing and it creates a condition called as fix and condition. Okay. And right now this is hinge condition. I want to change this condition which is at base. So I will have to go to plan, and in plan I will have to go to base. So the base, you can see all the points because these are the points of the column. And you can see one story on. If this is something else than one story, make it one story. Otherwise, the supports will be added at every floor as per this option. So right now I'm using one story option and I want to create a fixed support. So what I will do, I will select all the joints by dragging this. So all the joints are selected. Check that 1, 2, 3, 4 and 4, 16 and check it over here, 16 joints. So you have selected only those joints where you want to assign a fix and condition. Okay, try
Yes,
to
sir.
see the logic. See, you have selected what you have selected, point object. Joint means in ATAB it is considered as point objects or joints. So you have selected joints. Now you want to assign something to that. That means you have to go to assign, then you have to go to joints, and in the joints you have to see the option. Let us do that. Go to assign, go to joints, and you can see the joints. In joints you can go to restraint, diaphragm, panel zone, additional mass, joint floor meshing option, etc., etc. Right now we want restraint. So the restraint dialog box is coming in picture. Now you can see, if I click, see, this is a free joint. That means this joint is free to move in X direction, free to move in Y direction, free to move in Z direction, as well as it is free to rotate about X axis, about Y axis, about Z axis. And if I click on that, you will see that translation is, see here, what is this? Joint assignment, restraint. When it is, you can check it, or restraint in global direction. If I click, then it will be restraint. If I do not click, keep it blank, that means it is free to move. Clear? Clear हो रहा है क्या? See the translation.
Yes, sir.
Free movement means you are not restrained. आपके मन में जो है वो आप कर सकते हैं. Okay? And when you are not allowed, that means you are restrained. Now, this free joint, अगर ये जॉइंट चाहता है तो एक्स डायरेक्शन जा सकता है, वाई डायरेक्शन जा सकता है, जेड डायरेक्शन जा सकता है. अगर ये जॉइंट अबाउट एक्स एक्सिस रोटेट होना चाहता है तो वो रोटेट हो सकता है. वाई सेम अबाउट वाई एंड जेड. दैट इज कॉल्ड अ फ्री जॉइंट. टोटल फ्रीडम. टोटल फ्रीडम. जो मन में आए वो करो. दैट्स व्हाई एवरीथिंग इज ब्लैंक. ओके. यस. Now this is roller support. And what is the meaning of roller support? Now this roller is free to move in X direction. It is free to move in Y direction, but it is not free to move in Z direction. If I click on that, you can see only Z is applied. Clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now this is hinge support. Hinge means what? It is not free to move in X direction, not free to move in Y direction, and not free to move in Z direction, but it is free to rotate. Rotate about X, rotate about Y, rotate about Z. So if I click on this, see what happens. Translation in X is prohibited, in Y is prohibited, and in Z is also prohibited, but rotation is allowed. Clear?
Sir.
If I click on this, everything is allowed. जाना है जाओ, rotate होना है, as per your choice. So you are free. You are free 100%. यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है? Roller. Roller means roller can move in X direction, roller can move in Y direction, but roller cannot move in Z direction. Similarly, it can rotate about X, it can rotate about Y, it can rotate about Z. Then hinge condition. Hinge condition means it cannot move in X direction, Y direction, Z direction, but it is free to rotate. Free to rotate about X, Y and Z.
And Z.
वही हो रहा है.
हाँ.
And what is mean by fixed?
All six are restrained, prohibited.
Yeah. So a rotation about X, about Y, about Z is not allowed, restraint, as well as movement in X direction or translation in X direction, in Y direction and Z direction is also restrained. Let's see. Yes? Clear हो रहा है?
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
तो
So,
अभी आपको क्या चाहिए? अब ये सवाल
अभी ये restraint चाहिए सर हमें,
क्यों?
क्योंकि सर
ये नहीं
फिक्स सपोर्ट है वो।
Okay, so you are considering it free. That means you are not allowing the footing to rotate about x-axis, rotate about y-axis, as well as rotate about z-axis. As well as the footing is not allowed to move in x direction, move in y direction, as well as move in z direction. That is a fixed condition. And I am applying it. And now let us see whether the change has been taken in place or not. Let us see 3 and B. So first we'll look into 3. Change over,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
right? Let us see other elevation B or anything C. Change over. Right click करके देख लो. Now in right click, it is showing restraint, the assignment. Restraint UX, UY, UZ, RX, RY, RZ. So they are restraint. U means movement, R means rotation. Movement in X direction, Y direction, Z direction is restraint because it is under restraint. As well as rotation about X, Y, and Z axis is also restraint. That's why RX, RY, RZ. Clear हो रहा है?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now it is duty. It is your duty. You have to decide what type of support you need, and only then ETAB will help you. ETAB will not see. If I select this joint, let's say I'm selecting this joint. Okay, the joint is selected, and I go to that joint and restraint. Now the ETAB is asking me, what do you want? I have one condition, second condition, third and fourth. Now यहाँ पे आप ETAB को मत पूछो यार ये बताओ ये फिक्स करना है क्या हिंज करना है. ETAB बोलेगा मुझे क्या पता है, तुमको जो चाहिए वो मैं दूंगा. अब तुमको ही नहीं पता क्या चाहिए तो मैं क्या करूं. समझ में आ रहा है?
Yes, sir.
So only going through software is not sufficient. Definitely you should know the commands of software, but before that understanding the structural behavior is mandatory. So I will insist all of you to go through the book so that you will see under various conditions how the things are changing, how the behavior is controlled, what is the meaning of that, etc. Right? Only then you will be in a position to give certain decision. बराबर है ना?
Yes, sir.
अंडरस्टैंडिंग सॉफ्टवेयर क्या है, सी लोगों के दिमाग में वो गलत फहमी है कि इफ आई एम ओके विथ, अगर मुझे ETAB का सब कुछ आता है तो मेरा जॉब आसान हो गया, मुझे अच्छा नौकरी मिलेगा. बट वहां पे आपको प्रोग्रेस नहीं होगा आपका, क्योंकि एवरी टाइम यू विल आस्क योर सुपीरियर, सर यहाँ पे क्या करना है, सर यहाँ पे कॉलम का साइज क्या करूं, सर ये मोमेंट आ रहा है इसका क्या करूं, सर ये हो रहा है उसका क्या करूं. दैट मीन्स you will need somebody else help, so you cannot perform independently. So based on analysis you have to take the decision, and you can take the decision only when your fundamentals are clear, right from strength of material, right from applied mechanics to design of structure, whether it is steel structure, RC structure, pre-stress structure, or anything else. You can take help of any software, not only ETAB, any software, provided your engineering understanding is clear. Okay. एंड ये आप लोगों को कोई बताएगा नहीं, वो बोलेगा नहीं नहीं मैं तुम्हें ETAB सिखाता हूँ, चलो ये कॉलम ऐसा निकलना है, इसको सिलेक्ट करो, इसको इधर जाओ, फिर उधर जाओ, फिर उधर जाओ. मगर क्यों जाना है वो नहीं कोई बताएगा. Why you want to consider it as a fix? Why you are not happy with free joint? Why you are not happy with simply support joint? Clear? Anything else? Anybody? Because I think today I will stop over here. In next session, we'll go through drawing of slabs and walls and applying the loads. I will show, and then we'll start actual physical model. So one practical model will go through the uh, uh, AutoCAD drawing, and there we'll define our grid, then we'll define everything, and then we'll come back in ETAB and we'll create that model, we apply the loading, and then we'll analyze, and then we'll go to lateral loading. So that is the process. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. अगर नहीं समझा है कुछ तो पूछ लेना, so that क्योंकि आपका सेशन मेरे हिसाब से this much is enough. Yes.
नेक्स्ट क्लास
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, as we have inserted the extra beams, can we insert the columns also? That is not on the grid point.
It's very
In
simple.
between the beam.
Yeah, that's very simple. See what you have to do. Let's say you want a column at something 2 meter on this side and 1 meter below. You want somewhere column somewhere here, which is 2 meter from this point and 1 meter below. You can do that. Just go to first, you will have to go to draw, then you will have to go to draw point object, and in point object, see in point object, let us say in X direction, I want 2 meter on the right side. So I will say 2000 mm. Okay. In Y direction, I need 1.5 below. So I will say minus 1500 because that is in mm. Downwards means negative. Left means negative. And then I will click this point. So if I click on this point, I will get the point. Once I get the point, I will again go to draw. Then I will go to quick draw columns. And in quick draw columns, okay, I have to go for all story. Okay, and then I will see that so property of column is selected, and I will put it over here. 1 minute. That option was on, so I will go to this, then go to draw, then draw beams and columns. Then you can go draw beams and columns also, and you can check it over here. So the property that you are using has to be column. Then plan offset has to be normal, and then you can click on this. It has to be quick draw. Then draw and quick draw columns. And okay, the angle, let's say angle is this. This plan offset that you have to make it 0. This you have to make it 0. And then you can draw it. So that is how you can create a column. Or you can draw
Yes.
it with this plan offset. Check this property dialog box and apply it properly, and you will see that you are drawing it.
Sir?
Yeah.
सर मैं ये पूछना चाह रहा था कि जो बिल्डिंग कंस्ट्रक्शन में अपन जैसे ये कॉलम टू कॉलम जो बीम कनेक्ट होती है,
Yes.
कॉलम टू कॉलम के बीच में जो बीम कनेक्ट होती है सर,
Hmm.
तो जो कॉलम और कॉलम होता है वो फिक्स्ड सपोर्ट की तरह ट्रीट होता है ना सर?
Yeah. See, by default, see every junction by default, it is considered as fixed or rigid. Not fixed. I will call it rigid.
Rigid.
Yeah.
So we will provide that restraint condition at that footing.
No, no,
That's why.
you don't have, by default, it is rigid. If you do not want that, then you will have to provide that restraining. That I will explain. Or shall I explain it right now?
Yes,
Hello?
sir. Yes, sir. You can continue, sir.
Yeah. Okay. No problem. I can continue for more than half hour also. It depends on you. Okay. Let us go to that top story, and you can see over here. So these are secondary beams, right?
Yes, sir.
These are secondary beams. They are supporting on another primary beam. They are not directly supporting on column, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
here, see here, this joint or this joint by default it is considered as fixed. I mean rigid, not fixed. Fixed is different than rigid is different. That I will explain a bit later. But it is considered every joint by default. Every joint that is in your frame is considered as rigid. That means this beam will transfer reaction as well as moment. Now that moment on primary beam will be treated as a torsional moment, and you don't want that. So you want to release that moment, or let us say you want to consider this beam as a simply supported beam, right? Hello, clear
Yes,
over
sir.
it?
Yes, sir.
Now how you can do that? See, first you have to select the beam, then you have to go to assign, and in assign you have to go to frame because you have selected the frame, and in that here release and partial fixity. So this is considered. Now once I open this, you can see M22 and M33. So they are released at start and end, and click OK. You can see the beams that we have selected are now they are considered as simply supported,
Okay, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
Now you may say that, sir, I want a release on only one side, and on another side, I want a fixed condition.
Okay, sir.
Okay, then you have to see which is I joint and J joint. Now you are drawing any beam. Let's say when you are drawing, let's say you are drawing a beam from this point to this point,
Okay,
like
sir.
this. Okay, so this point will be considered as I end, and this point will be considered as J end. Now let's say you are having another point over here and one more point over here, and now you are drawing the beam something like this. In that case, this joint will be considered as I, and this joint will be considered as joint Z. So the first clicking point will be considered as I joint, and second clicking point will be considered as J joint.
J joint.
Okay. Now if you want to apply a release over here, then you will have to release at I end.
Okay,
If you
sir.
want to apply a release over here, then you have to consider J joint,
Okay, sir.
right? Now that's why I always say that you must know which is your I end and J end, and that's why I said that draw when you are drawing a beams parallel to x axis, always draw
Left to right.
from left to right, so that left will be considered as I and this will be considered as J. And when you are drawing beams parallel to y-axis, always draw like this. So
Bottom to
this will
top.
be I end and this will be my J end.
Yeah.
Because x is positive in this direction and y is positive in this direction, I am following it. Now you may say that, sir, what will happen? I will draw every member from left to right, right to left, and top to bottom. I don't mind, but follow one convention.
Okay, sir.
But why I am saying this is to be followed? Because this is consistent with your coordinate system.
Okay, sir.
This is not consistent with your coordinate system, but it is okay. But see, what
Okay,
will
sir.
happen if you say that, sir, I will draw some beam from this side to this side and this side to this side. Some beam will be I will draw from top to bottom. Some beams I will draw from bottom to top. Merry choice, eh? You can
Hmm.
do that. You can do that. There is no problem. The problem is not with the software. Later on, the software will give you results, maybe shear force, bending moment diagram, torsional moment, or everything according to this convention. So sometimes he will say upward positive, sometimes he will say downward positive.
Hmm.
Software will maintain that track, I to J, I to J, I to J. But
Hmm.
can you remember everything when you have drawn top to bottom, bottom to top, or left to
No,
right,
sir.
or
No,
right to
sir.
left?
It's not possible. It's not
Yeah,
possible to
yeah.
because
और
it
सॉफ्टवेयर
confusion पैदा कर देगा,
yeah.
sir.
सो सॉफ्टवेयर आपको रिजल्ट देगा, मगर वो रिजल्ट आपको कंफ्यूज करेंगे अगर ये फॉलो किया तो, इसलिए ये
Hmm.
मत फॉलो करो. I will
ठीक है, sir.
advise you to follow this method, but sometimes you may follow this. But have a consistency. Have a consistency. But don't do this. कभी ऊपर, कभी नीचे, कभी लेफ्ट, कभी राइट. क्लियर?
सर सर वो
Yes.
एक आप जो टॉर्जनल रेजिस्टेंस वाला पॉइंट बता रहे थे
हम्म.
सेकेंडरी बीम वाला, सर वो एक बार रिपीट कर दो सर.
सब कुछ आज ही सीखोगे क्या?
सर बस 5 मिनट फिर सर मैं
नहीं, मुझे कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. बाकी लोगों को
थोड़ा
पूछो, बाकी लोगों को
इंटरेस्ट
पूछो,
डेवलप हुआ है.
वो बोलेंगे यार क्या बोर कर रहा है ये आदमी. ये तुम्हारा एक बीम है. क्लियर?
हाँ सर.
और ये बीम तुम्हारा इस बीम पर ये बीम रेस्ट हुआ है इस बीम पर.
ठीक है सर.
सो द ग्रीन इज सेकेंडरी बीम and
हम्म.
this magenta color, no? What is that?
यस सर.
So
मैजेंटा.
that, yeah, so that beam is your primary beam. So I will call this as primary and this as secondary.
ओके सर.
Okay.
यस सर.
Now after analysis, there is vertical loading on this beam as well as on this beam. Okay.
Sir.
Now let us draw it. See, this beam is having fixed. Now this joint, you have not released the moment. That's why it will consider as fixed end joint. Okay.
Yes sir.
And you
Yes,
will
sir.
have a bending moment, something like this. So this is your span moment. This is your fixed moment. Yes or no?
Yes sir.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
yeah. Now this fixed end moment is flexural moment. It is acting like this.
Hmm.
But this flexural moment of secondary beam is a torsional moment for this beam. Got it?
Okay,
See,
sir.
this is your cross section, and this cross section is applied a moment something like this. So it will twist.
Hmm.
See, it will bend in this direction. But this is perpendicular to your longitudinal axis.
Okay.
So that is the torsion. Yes,
Yes, sir.
clear हो रहा है?
हाँ सर, तो आ रहा है सर समझ में।
Yes, sir.
अब उसे प्लान में देखते हैं। प्लान में क्या हो रहा है? ये बीम ऐसा आ रहा है और ये बीम ऐसा है, बराबर?
यस सर।
नाउ ये बीम जो मोमेंट ट्रांसफर कर रहा है वो ऐसा है, और इसका लॉन्जिट्यूडनल डायरेक्शन ये है। तो ये टॉर्शन हुआ ना?
हाँ सर, ये टॉर्जन हो गया इस बीम के लिए, सेकंड प्राइमरी बीम के लिए टॉर्जन हो
प्राइमरी
गया।
के लिए टॉर्शन हो गया, सेकेंडरी का वो फ्लेक्सुरल है।
फ्लेक्सर है।
क्लियर हुआ?
हाँ सर।
पिक्चर करो। क्या करना है? वेरी सिंपल। आपको इंजीनियरिंग कैसे है वो गलत ढंग से पढ़ाया होगा, वो सारे कॉलेजेस में वही होता है। क्या करना है आपको? अगर कोई चीज नहीं समझ में आती है ना, तो उसका 3 डायमेंशनल पिक्चर निकालो। एग्जैक्ट एक्यूरेट निकालने की जरूरत नहीं, जैसे मैं अभी निकालता हूं, और चेक करो कि ये इसको ऐसे अप्लाई किया तो वो कैसे लेगा। बराबर है?
यस सर।
तो पता चलेगा। एवरी टाइम यू विल अंडरस्टैंड दैट। So whatever is flexural for secondary beam is torsional to primary beam, क्योंकि दोनों का longitudinal axis एक दूसरे को परपेंडिकुलर है।
परपेंडिकुलर है।
आसान है ना?
हाँ सर, मैं आ गया मेरे समझ में आपने जो बताया अभी। मतलब वो इंटरसेक्ट कर रही है 90 डिग्री पे, तो जो सेकेंडरी बीम का जो एक्स एक्सिस है उस पे बेंडिंग मोमेंट लग रहा है, तो जो सेकेंडरी बीम की जो लॉन्गिट्यूडनल एक्सिस उस पे टॉर्जन आ जाएगा।
नहीं, प्राइमरी पे टॉर्शन आएगा, सेकेंडरी पे नहीं।
प्राइमरी पे टॉर्जन आएगा, प्राइमरी पे।
या
वो सर आया समझ में भी।
यस, एनीबॉडी? जितने सवाल पूछोगे उतना अच्छा है आप लोगों के लिए। I think now you people might have exhausted because we started at 7:20 and right now it is 9:07 in my clock. I think it's okay, but go ahead with the practice and you will understand. और नहीं पूछा तो मैं हूँ, हमारा क्लास 1-2 दिन में नहीं खत्म होने वाला। Don't worry about it. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Anybody having any query, please ask me. Otherwise, we'll conclude today's session. I think you will go through the recorded sessions, and if you have queries, you can ask me in next session also. No problem.
Yes, sir.
Okay, with this, we'll conclude today's session, and thanks for all of you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Good night, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.